So in this video, we're going to go over how to insert in a BST tree. And first, let's create a file. And I'm just going to name it bst.h. And I'm going to copy these. Okay, and so firstly, we have to create a node, or create a structure for a node. And we're going to say struct node. And this structure is going to carry the node's value, and it's going to be a number, integer value. And remember that each tree has a left and right subtree. So I'm going to include that as one of the node's attributes, because each node is going to have either a left node or a right node as its children, right? So I'm going to say node pointer right, or start right, and node star left. And this is the right node. Node of, okay, so it's just going to be the right node of whatever the node is, and this is going to be the left one. So I guess you can say it's a child node. And after the structure, I'm going to create a class. So we can just say class BST, and in the private section, you don't really have to have anything in the private except for the root, right? So node arrow or star root, and the root is going to be the very first node of the tree. And in the public section, this is where we're going to write all of our functions. And so to insert a node, let's just call the function insert, and we're going to take in a value as a parameter, and I'm just going to call it v for value. And first of all, since we're inserting a node, that means that you're going to have to create a new node, right? And so let's create a new node first. And here we can say node star new node. This is the name of my node, and I'm going to say new node, and new node arrow value equals to v, and new node arrow right equals to null pointer, new node arrow left equals to null pointer. And the reason why I assigned right and left to null pointer is because we're just looking at the new node. We're not looking at its children nodes, because it's just better to not assign them because you don't really know what they are. And here, so these 3 lines of code here are basically assigning the attributes of this new node from this structure over here. So the structure has value, the right node, the left node, and that's exactly what we're using here to create that new node. So we're using those attributes for this new node that we just created. And so the first thing you have to keep in mind is that how are you going to insert a node if there's no existing tree, right? So this is going to be our case 1. And our case 1 is just if there is no existing tree, there's no tree, then we're going to make our new node the root. So make new node. So make new node the tree, or the root, sorry. And so you're just going to write that like this with the if statement. If root equals to null pointer, if root equals to null pointer, then we're just going to say then make our root our new node. That's what we're saying. So if root equals to null pointer, that means that it has no children nodes. Or it has no nodes. So we're just making our root our new node, meaning that that's going to be the first node in the tree. And another case you have to consider is that if the new node's value that you have is less than the root's value. And if that's the case, then you're going to add it to your left side, right? Because in a BST tree, whatever values you have, whatever the root's value is, any value or node that you want to add, if it's less than, you have to add it to the left. If it's greater than, you add it to the right. And whenever we're adding it to the right, that's just going to be our case 3. So for now, our case 2 can just be if new node's value is less than root, we're going to add it to left. We're going to add it to the left side. So we can write this as a if statement too. So you can just say if v, and v just represents this value here, right? The new node's value, we're just saying that it's v. So if v is less than root arrow value, then we're going to make root arrow left our new node. And this makes sense, right? Because whatever the left of that node is, we're going to make that the new node. And this is the case 3. So if new node's value, let me just copy this. So if new node's value is greater than root, then add it to the right side. This is our case 3. So likewise, it's just almost going to be the same thing, except we're going to add it to the right side. So if value is greater than the root's value, then we're going to add it to the left or right side. So this is how it should look like. And another case that you have to consider is when your value is the same as your root's value, right? So you can, so it's basically like when you already have, say, value 4 in your tree, and you're trying to add the value 4 again, we're just going to treat it as a duplicate. So you can say, let me just say the case of duplicates. And here it's, so this is an else statement. And you can say that if none of these cases above here apply, then we're just going to see out that the value you want to add is a duplicate. And that's it. So to explain this code overall, so first we created a structure, right? So we created a node structure, and this is the blueprint for every node that you're going to have in your tree. So this means that each tree is going to have an integer value. It's going to have a left side, it's going to have a right child node as well as a left child node, right? And so that's what it means. So each node is going to have all of these values, and we're using all of these values to either add a node to the BST tree, right? And so this is what you're going to need to have, nevertheless. And then in the class, we're declaring root as a private because it's really only accessible for us. And then here in the public section, we have this insert function. And first, we're creating a new node, and we're assigning all of these attributes from the node structure. And after that, since you have your new node now, you have to check where to add it in the tree. So you're considering all of these cases here, and you're seeing if it's this case, if it's case 2, then I'm going to add it to the left. If it's case 3, I'm going to add it to the right. If it's none of these cases, I'm going to add it to, I'm not going to add it, it's just a duplicate, so we're going to leave that alone. So So the first thing you have to consider is always if the tree exists or not. And if it doesn't exist, then there's really no left there. You can't add it to the left or right. You have to make it to the root. And your second case is going to be that if your tree does exist, and if your new node's value, the value that you want to add to the tree, if it's less than the root's value or less than the parent's value, then you're going to add it to the left side. And if it happens to be greater, then you're going to add it to the right side. And if it's none of those, you just see out that it's a duplicate. And that's it. Thank you.